One family, one people, one planet, one love. One family, one people, one planet, one love. One family.
Good morning and welcome to SoulCall Sunday Live. Welcome to everyone in the house here in Columbus. Yeah, we are so happy to be with you this morning, coming to you live from AIAM here in Columbus, Ohio. And we welcome you live streaming in from wherever you are on the planet. Do drop us a line and say, there was a place when I was younger, driving to another place to go sing, and there was a place on the side of the road called the Do Drop In. So I was going to say, do drop us a line. And that's where my mind goes when I think about that. Today, we're going to be talking about play and creativity, and a little example there of free association, which you've been on the receiving end of many times here at SoulCall. But thinking about not thinking so much and how we break those habits, those habitual pattern thinking, to allow ourselves to play creatively. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Of course, our friend Albert Einstein offered that many years ago. And so I was able to solve the theory of relativity, or at least bring it to our attention of how everything is connected. And thinking about the space telescope, I'm still obsessed with that this week, the James Webb telescope. I don't know how you could not be, but imagining, all the way back to the days of Sir Isaac Newton and Tycho Brahe and people like this, knowing it was out there, but not being able to see it, but being able to almost see it and bringing it right to us. So if we were the show me state, the Missouri state, now we could see it. What does it mean? That's what we'll talk about, how to imagine into what the meaning of this can be for you in the consciousness of your own zone and the cells that you possess that make up the composition of your being as you bring things through the cosmos as like being the divine channel, the doorway for creativity. So this morning, we're going to start, as we always start, with a practice of Qigong. And this morning, we absolutely do have a video of Sifu Helen Yi leading us through a practice of Qigong, which is pulling that energy into our bodies using our will, our attention, and then letting it manifest in our beings, pulling in the light to raise our vibrations so that we can see and hear those resonances perhaps that other people might miss, who aren't as pingy on the high vibe. So wherever you are, make some room for yourself, and let's participate with Helen Yi in our practice of Qigong.
Raising your arms up, letting them float above the head. Using the laogons in the palms of your hands to draw the qi into the meridian pathways through the byway. Continue to deepen your breath, expanding the lungs and all the quadrants, filling up with air and beautiful qi energy, interlacing the fingers above the head, turning the palms towards sky, rotating the left elbow first and the right, allowing your whole torso to relax and move with the motion. Doing it again. Left, then right circular motion. Now stretching the arms way above the head and Looking down, stretching the cervical vertebrae and relaxing the arms. Do another rotation of the elbow, left, then right. And now, as you're sitting in a chair or stool, stretching the arms upwards to sky, the tailbone to earth, stretching the thoracic vertebrae, and relaxing. Rotate again, left, then right, keeping the palms pointed to sky. Again, stretching the thoracic vertebrae and the arms, straightening the legs. From here, circulating the elbows. And now, bending the cervical, thoracic, and the sacrum. And now, straightening the knees, coming down with the arms straight, palms facing earth, pressing into the earth, left part of the foot, then over to the right side of the foot, on the right side. Go ahead and unlock the fingers, extracting the chi into a ball. And now pivoting with the left foot, bringing the left palm, making a good eye connection with the left lao gong as the right palm is facing the lower dantian. Looking forward, and now guiding the chi into the left side of the body through the Bai Wei into the meridian channel, the central channel of the body. Placing the chi into the body, guiding it in, nourishing the eyes, the mouth, the throat, the muscles, tendons, ligaments, and joints, the heart and the lungs. Feeling the chi coming in, pushing out any stagnation or blockages. Coming into the stomach, the liver, the gallbladder, the kidneys, into the lower abdomen. And now placing that left palm facing the lower dantian, pivoting your left foot, bringing the right palm up to eye level. Getting that good connection with the eyes, with the lao gong. Looking forward, and now guiding the chi onto the right side of the body through the central meridian pathway and nourishing the blood, the lymph, the muscles, the bone marrow, deepening the chi into the cells, filling them with wellness and vitality, bringing calmness, and being assured that your well-being of health is at its most optimal state.
Thank you, Helen. I was pleasantly surprised at our group as we were bending over. No groans, no moans, come back up. It's really a wonderful practice. I can tell you're all practicing that presence and pulling it in. And so let's take a moment to get into a proper meditation posture now. We're going to start inviting meditation, floral meditation, as following from Qigong, energizing the body, and then allowing ourselves to integrate. I think that's part of the process is we can pull it all in, then allowing it to integrate, assimilate. Some of you who are yoginis, perhaps, or yogis who do yoga, that Shavasana, the final pose, which is the one where you just rest and allow it to integrate. And kind of like a good pot of sauce on a Sunday, you start early in the morning, and by the time you're ready to eat, it's amazing. So this is it, nourishing the cells. So just taking a deep breath in, following the breath, allowing yourself to feel the rise and fall of the breath as we listen to this meditation song, Open Wide My Heart, just following the breath and in and out, and enjoy this meditation song.
Open wide my heart. 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 Open wide my heart.
And in this sacred moment, open my heart. I open to the creative possibilities alive in this moment. Opening to the now, we see the future unfold, step by step, with the confidence that the creative spirit, the creative power, the Shakti is always pulsating through, permeating every cell of our beings. This vitality is rich, it's energized. It is the power of yes. And as I open wide my heart, I realize there is no separation. That which is creating is me. That which is being created is me. And that space between worlds is also me. There is no I anymore. When this I shall die, that is when I will know who am I. I am that I am. It is this sacred trust that sparks us into being. It is the sacred trust that rides on the breath of our being. We trust when we inhale, there is breath enough to breathe, to keep this material form alive, creative, and joyful. I give great thanks for this truth, and I allow it to be more manifest in my life. I let go of thinking that I am the doer and realize that I am, as Mother Teresa would say, the sacred pencil in the hand of the infinite, writing a love letter to the world. Om Shanti, peace, amen. Bringing our consciousness back to the room. It's like, thank you very much. Good night. No. So where we begin, over the years, I've had the great pleasure of speaking to junior high school students on career days and working with corporations on creativity, so from people from all ages and all different places, like defense people for our country, and sparking creativity. One of the biggest challenges at any age is making sure you maintain your relevance in terms of who you are and what you came here to become more fully grown as, how to grow, how to keep growing that outer edge. And so why I mentioned junior high school, it's right when a student is starting to become more aware of what academia is going to do to you. Like, what do you want to be when you grow up becomes, how are you going to be that thing? Sometimes it's to go to college, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's to go to art school, sometimes it's not. Music school, sometimes it's not. But how do you know that you know? So these were the things that I would talk about. I'm going to share some of that with you. But then once you get into a place, even if you get hired as a creative type somewhere, or just in your own life, how do you maintain that spark, that freshness, and not get so careful that you're not creative anymore? Like, to become repeatable. We like that. There's a place for that. There's a place for that, but not all the time. And so I think I mentioned this before. Steve Jobs, the creator of Mac, Apple, you would get fired if you didn't make enough mistakes, because he knew that you weren't thinking outside the box. You weren't taking enough risks. So in order to start this process, I'm going to ask for a show of hands. If you make one commitment today, it's to raise your hand if you're willing to make mistakes and fail at something. Great. It's like, whether I agreed to it or not, that's kind of how I roll. It happens. So I was thinking about that. Permit yourself, allow yourself to fail. When I think about that, it's not a permanent situation, is it? A state of failure. And it's just practicing scales on the piano, let's say. The B flat scale is the one that would throw me a little bit because it was not like most of the other ones. So I started practicing it, and I didn't get it right the first time. I failed. But it wasn't permanent. I didn't stop. I tried again and again and again. And then I finally got it without messing it up. But if I had stopped at the very first time, I would have never gotten it, and I would never enjoy playing the piano. But then what? Okay, so then how do I grow my edge? Now I know how to play the scale. What would I do the next time? I try to play it a little faster. Boom, right in the middle. Breaks down, like the crossover. Again, fail, fail, fail. Got it. Then I do it a little faster. Then do it on the way back down. Then I try with just the left hand. Fail, fail, fail. Then when you try to put them both together, right? That's that complementary activity. And I think of just, within our own beings, playing something that requires left hand, right hand is kind of like working in relationship as a team. It feels so foreign at first because this one's doing this and this one's doing that. But all of a sudden, we find that we are wired to be able to accept this kind of complementary activity and to work together as a team. So another thing about creativity is using your growing edge to be able to work together as a team. It sparks creativity. You learn something from someone else. You see the way they do it. It's like, where on earth did you learn? Because you don't have to travel the world. You can just be with other people who have, and they can bring it right to you if you're willing to open and grow and see the way somebody else does it. My father would be somebody who would watch, the five of us, we each made sandwiches differently. Like when we were actually allowed to handle a knife and start, cutting our own bread. Some people sliced it thin. I like a thick piece of bread because I knew I was going to pile a lot of stuff onto it. So it needed to have some, but we all do it differently. We all made a sandwich and we all ate. So creativity is about allowing for the fact that people are going to do it differently and focusing on what's the result? Why am I doing this? What do I want to even do this for? So in working with people and coaching clients just for creativity, how to break out of a habit of thinking and expend more energy growing to your outer edge, So there are over 100 billion neurons in the human brain or more, the same number of stars in a known galaxy. So I'm like still in the moon and the stars. The brain is the most complex structure in the known universe. In other words, contained within each one of us is a universe of possibilities. So ours is to explore the universe of our possibilities. You don't need to go do, 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 do. You don't need to go into outer space. Just go into inner space. There's more space inside of our bodies than most of us would even realize. But going within, this is why we're going to practice meditation more, so you can realize how to do it. So our conscious mind only utilizes 2% of its capacity. Right now, I'm talking to you. You're understanding what I'm saying. You're utilizing 2% of the capacity of your whole brain. And as I'm saying things, each one of you is taking it in a different way and is working a different series of connections that you have, sparking memories, thoughts. Even when you're shaking your head, yes, I get it. You get it in a different way. Get it? Yes, in a different way. Okay. The challenge is to simply learn how to maximize our innate brilliance and talents. And so our greatest natural resource is the untapped potential that resides within each one of us. And by cultivating imagination and creativity, we can expand beyond our conscious and unconscious limitations. There have been studies, of course, we love studies, done on creativity and play. When was the last time, just think for yourself, you did something that was just for the sheer joy of it? There was no, you were just playing. Everybody's like, or painting, just playing the piano, not even trying to learn a piece of anything, but just letting your hands fall on the piano or the guitar. Or, I started the habit recently, I brought it back into my world of just reading a piece of poetry in the morning while I'm sipping my coffee, looking out into my beautiful yard. It gets my mind going in a different way. And as fate would have it this morning, as I'm going to talk to you about creativity, I had a series of notes I was going to compile onto one sheet and print it off. My Wi-Fi was out. I was like, oh, great. Well, just got to get creative, So here I am. Wrote some things down that I hope I can read my own handwriting. I used to be a doctor in my last life, I'm sure. But why we play. So some of the benefits of playing. So it reminds you of the artist that you are. So I'm going to ask you, how many of you in this room are artists? Okay. Now, if I would have asked that question to a group when you were 5 years old, every single one of you would have gone, what happened? What happened? Shout it out. Life how?
Responsibility.
Life responsibilities, but also definitions. By definition, who's an artist? We are all artists, and every human life is a work of art, a unique, irreplaceable work of art. To some people watching the cosmos through the James Webb telescope, they say it made me feel so small. Some people said it made me feel insignificant. And I'm like, no, it should make you feel even more amazing because of all of that. Here you are too. That's amazing. If you weren't necessary, you wouldn't be here. So you are a work of art. You are a work in progress. Some people say, what a piece of work. You hear that? Let's just reframe that. There's a piece of art right there. Maybe it's abstract, maybe a little Jackson Pollock, who knows? But start thinking of yourself in terms of, I am a living, breathing manifestation of an irreplaceable piece of art. There's not enough money in the world, even if you're Elon Musk, to buy all. You see all of this? You cannot. Not for sale, and it's not replaceable. Irreplaceable. So if we start thinking like that, how are we able to do some things to help us get out of the definitions of, if you're not, a concert pianist, you're not a musician. If you're not painting every day, you're not an artist. Some people make art. Candy, I don't want to call you out, my darling, but you're an artist with food and baking. I've eaten your every day. I take it, and then I take it home every Sunday. So let's not limit ourselves to other people's definitions of what an artist is. So one of the things, play helps us to relieve stress, improve our brain function, stimulate mind, and boost creativity. Just creative play for no reason. I think I mentioned it last week. Michelle was talking about working with kids. It was way up in the 90s this week, and she runs summer camps. They were playing with balloons, water balloons, and the adults were like, oh, no, no. He's like, yeah, you do. And she tossed one to somebody, and next thing you know, all the adults are playing with water balloons too. Why not? By definition, the definition of an adult does not play with water balloons. I mean, I have not read that anywhere. Or doesn't play, we can handle things. We know what the definition of like developmental psychology will tell you. There are certain ways, but it's not age. It's not always not age appropriate. And life is a continuum. It doesn't mean we drop all these things and now we're only serioso. It's not. That's a Helen Yee word. It's not always how it goes. I remember when my nieces and nephews were little, I would be the one that would be, of course, playing with them, taking them out, getting them to do different things. I'd be the one jumping on the bed with them upstairs, and it would be, my sisters would yell, kids and Aunt Lisa, stop jumping on the bed. We would all be like, we all just got yelled at, but so what? I was kind of there making sure they didn't fall off the bed and get hurt. So, I was doing something, but it's like, when did we trade in our joy for work? Think about that. You might be able to know the day, or maybe it was incremental, or maybe it was a series of circumstances, even if you're moving through a health challenge, and especially if you're moving through a serious health challenge, you've got to laugh every day. You've got to find a way to do something that is just ridiculously meaningless, to remember the true meaning of life is joy. Otherwise, what's the point? What's the point? Navigating a health challenge, with Erika, some of you know, we laughed every single day, even in the most ridiculous circumstances. Like, can you believe this? It would just be this miraculous thing. Not every single day was hilarious, but we had to find something to laugh about every day. And it helped turn things around. It makes the joy in your cells, there's something called cellular communication. It puffs them up more, and they can communicate and spread that joy. It's contagious, the best kind of contagious. That's the kind of stuff we like. It improves our relationship, connection, and joy to others. So team sports, when you think about that, how many of you played a team sport ever in your life? Yeah. Ever belong to a team of creativity people, or just a creative team at work, or you have a family or something that you belong to that's a group? It's fun to be able to hear from other people, like what their ideas are. And then somebody will go, oh yeah. Do you ever get in a group like that where somebody says something and the other one's like, oh yeah, then we can, and then we can, and then we can. Yes. You just keep spinning it up, spiraling it up. So look for places, and we welcome you here, because that's what we like to do. We like to spin up ideas, then boil it down a little and take the next step. But let's see how big we can make it, and then how we take the steps to get it there. So it helps you to feel young and energetic. It helps you to develop and improve social skills. So think about board games. Anybody ever play charades compared to a board game? How many people would just be like, I don't want to play charades? But then everybody gets into it, So the other challenge, so permit yourself to fail. The next challenge I would want to ask of you is permit yourself to do something completely ridiculous. How many would you go for that? I got to think about it. Okay, now that begs the question, define ridiculous, right? Your own ridiculous. It might be incremental ridiculous, or something like you wouldn't do that's not going to hurt you. Something to just let go of, one little prescribed thing that you think you need before you leave the house. I don't know. Just do it, whatever it is for you, and be gentle with yourself. Recognize where you put up the wall, or where the wall was put up and you didn't even realize somebody had you pigeonholed or cornered someplace. So we're going to get the creativity out of the corner. Nobody puts baby in the corner. So play can heal emotional wounds. Just think about how fun it is to just do. I think the last time I was thinking about this was playing pickleball. Who cares? Like, in the overall scheme of the universe, no one cares about who wins, who loses, and the people I play with. It was just about the sheer joy and the sheer fun of that. Same with music. I like to get it right, but it's more about how it feels in the making of the music. And last I checked, nobody ever was killed by a bad note. It might hurt, really, it might hurt for a little while, but I've never seen anybody just totally leave the planet over that. They might have wanted to. It improves self-esteem and emotional intelligence. Play, just for the sheer joy of it. Emotional intelligence, and it stimulates creativity. And unstructured play. It's really popular now, and unfortunately, I will add, to have young children starting things like t-ball and organized sports before they're even 5. Before the age of 8 or 9, developmentally, it's better to just let them play and make up their own rules. One of our members here, one of their grandchildren went to some structured play event, and he hated it. She goes, "How was it?" He goes, "They kept trying to tell me what to do." I think he's 4. Leave him alone, Let them, here's this, let's see what you'll do with it. I don't want to show you what I would do with it. By doing that, we are not allowing ourselves to see another way of what someone else might do in a situation. I don't know about you, when we were younger, we would play ball in the backyard, and that plum tree was first base. A rock back here, we would try to find something for second, and you'd eye it. Nobody walked it off. That looks about right. That looks about right. And we'd play with what we had, and there was always the creative person who would try to, if your team was winning, try to interject a new role in the middle. Wait a minute, no, if it hits off the house, off the bottom part of the house, and then they would, we would work that out. Like either yes or no, or actually that could be really fun. Yeah, let's do it like that. I'm playing ping pong in the basement. Sometimes we would hit it, it would have to hit like this off a wall and come back down. Just to keep it more interesting as the winter wore on and there was nothing else to do. So my invitation to you is try something this week that you never tried before, but always kind of wanted to, or something you felt you would never like at all. Something completely out of, go to that movie, go to that concert, listen to that music, take that art class, take that dance class, that NIA class. Whatever it is that you think, I absolutely would hate that. Swimming, whatever. Think about how you can get involved in it and allow yourself the opportunity to just snap that limitation. Just see what comes in. See what comes in. So in our creativity workshops and classes, we would sometimes share, and I still do, a thing called an incomplete manifesto for growth. And it comes from Bruce Mao Design, which was around from like 1985 to 2006. So allow events to change you. Think about that. Allow events to change you. Instead of doubling down on the process you would normally use to get through maybe crisis situation, allow yourself to expand like bird's eye view almost. Instead of going at it the way you always go at it, take a step back and literally imagine yourself being bigger than the issue, and then look at it and incorporate whatever it is to show you. Like Rumi would say, invite an unwanted guest in, an unwanted illness, an unwanted, whatever it is, and ask her, what are you here to show me? Get the message and then show it out. But incorporate the wisdom, because it allows you to grow and expand to the cosmos. This is how we have all this space. Think of it like this. When I say we've got space inside us, if you realize that with your consciousness you can expand yourself, how can you expand yourself if you didn't have any space inside? You understand what I mean? What you're doing is tapping, it's like the reverse air blowing. You're allowing it to inflate you. It's coming from the inside. You're not inhaling from the outside. If you can meditate on that concept right there, I never quite said it that way. It's one way to be able to glean so much of the energy of creativity that is available to us in every moment. We are bigger than we think. We are greater than we think we are. And you can't outknow it. It's great pleasure to show you and inspire you every single day how amazing you are. Study. is another, the incomplete manifesto for growth. One of my favorites is study, and it comes from a word, that word study comes from a word, studio. A studio is a place where you study. So spend some time in that art studio, that bakery studio, the dance studio, the Nia studio, the Qigong studio, studio, do it. It's a necessary, find any necessary excuse to get into the studio, knitting, whatever it is, allow yourself to do it. Harvest ideas and edit applications. Ideas need a dynamic, fluid, generous environment to sustain life. Applications, on the other hand, benefit from critical rigor. So produce a high ratio of ideas to applications. So think of a million things you want to do, and then how will I use this? Do you ever make something, or you're working something out and like, where will I ever, that's cool, but who would ever use that? I'm the one that thought I thought I invented the reverse umbrella, and I think I did around the same time it was invented. Do you even know what I mean? The umbrella that when you pull it down, it doesn't go down, it pulls down from the center, so all the water stays on the inside. And when you go to pull it into your car, it dumps out and it doesn't all over your, well, they're out there already, but I swear I was in the field and I grabbed it first, but I didn't know how to do the prototype. But think about ways you can create something useful. I remember watching you do this, Lisa, with building those little houses. You couldn't figure out the light. Something was off with the light, so you just did a makeshift thing, and it worked. Like, think of the times you use creativity that you're not even counting. We do it often. Candy, I wouldn't say this to you, but there was another friend of mine who was a baker, God rest her soul, Rosemary. If she started with a recipe, if she didn't have all the ingredients, she would just start to bake anyway and use something that looked like the thing they were calling for. Then I'd come over to the house and she'd go, sit down, taste this. I'm like, what is it? No, just, well, it looks a lot like, chocolate cake. She goes, taste it though, and it wasn't, it was, whatever else she found that looked like powdered cocoa, whatever. At least it was edible. It was nothing, stay up late is one thing. Stay up late. Strange things happen when you've gone too far, been up too long, worked too hard, and you're separated from the rest of the world. What do you think? Allowing yourself to just snap out of, if you can have a space of a week or something like that, to just get out of the, in taking vacations, it's kind of a proven fact that if you take at least 2 weeks, and if you can take 3, that would be amazing. But if you could take 3, you would really get a good rest in the middle, because the first week you might get Wednesday and Thursday. If you take it from Sunday, might be because you're just winding down, then you have 2 days, then all of a sudden you start thinking about, oh, I got to go home, and how am I going to pack that car? If we buy any more stuff, is it going to fit in my suitcase? Maybe I'll ship it. You just start working out problems. But 2 weeks, you get about 8 days in the middle. But 3 weeks, you kind of start to realize, why do I work so hard? The questions start to shift is the point here. You'll start asking different questions. You'll start having different realizations. Lucky for me, this is a good one. Don't clean your desk. I put this one into practice on a regular basis. It says you might find something in the morning that you can't see tonight. If you put everything away. Did you ever do that? You open a book. I do the same thing there are certain books that I might buy 2 of these books. One, I highlight to use for references and things I want to share. But one that I don't mark at all, because I'm in a different frame of mind. I'm different than I was yesterday, different than I was a year ago. I don't want to just go right to the same highlighted things with the same mind that I had 2 years ago. You'll find different, if you have a really juicy, like an Emerson book or a Yogananda book or whatever it is that speaks to you, the Tao Te Ching. Allow yourself to explore these things. Be careful to take risks. All right, we've already agreed on that one. Take risks. Time is genetic. Today is the child of yesterday and the parent of tomorrow. The work you produce today will create your future. going to read that one again. Time is genetic. Today is the child of yesterday and the parent of tomorrow. The work you produce today will create your future. Don't enter awards competitions, because then it just precludes the way you play. All of a sudden, a friend of ours was a really great dancer, and she was told at a young age she didn't have the right body for a dancer, so she was never going to make it as a dancer. She went on to found one of the most important dance troupes in the San Francisco Bay Area, working with at-risk youth. I think it's 35 years in the making, transformed lives, taught them how to dance and express themselves. Amazing dancer. But had she bought into that, who knows what she would have been doing for a living. So, it's really an interesting thing what people try to do with creativity. But it's important to be who you are. Make mistakes faster is one of the ones we say. Laugh. It's important to laugh. And there's one more that I really want to, scat. When you forget the words, do what Ella did. Make something up, but not words. So if you forget what you're doing, improvise. Like baking that cake. It was edible. And like, well, what did you put in here? I don't remember. This actually tastes good. Like maybe if you would have written it down, it would have been, but she didn't care. I can't tell you how many times we'd be driving and make up an amazing song, but not have anything to record it on. And just be like, whatever, it'll come back, or parts of it will come back. There's more than one. It's infinite. Letting ourselves not be so clutchy. So it's all about the journey. It's all about the journey to creativity and creative play. So snap out of it and get into it. Snap out of it and get into it. And find your joy. Find your joy. So before we listen to our closing song, I want to share this wonderful poem from Mary Oliver. It's called The Journey. One day, you finally knew what you had to do and began. Though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, though the whole house began to tremble, and you felt like the old tug at your ankles was coming back. Mend my life, it said. Each voice cried, but you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do. Though the wind pried with its stiff fingers at the very foundations, though their melancholy was terrible, it was already late enough and a wild night, and the road full of fallen branches and stones. But little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds, and there was a new voice which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only life you could save. Welcome to your amazing life. Here's a song called Little by Little, inspired by the poetry of Rumi, about the rosy-cheeked coming down from the rose gardens and orchards of love. Enjoy.
cheeked are coming down from the rose gardens and orchards of love. Little by little, the bands of drunkards are coming. Little by little, the heart-healing ones are on the way. The exhausted ones from the meadows of love, strong and in the best of health, are returning. Loads of gold, and the gold mines themselves are being bestowed on the poorest of the poor. The souls of the pure of heart are streaming down like beams from an invisible sun. Little by little, the rosy-cheeked are coming down from the rose gardens and orchards of love. Little by little, the bands of drunkards are coming. Little by little, the heart-healing ones are on the way. Little by little, the non-beings are being gone. And little by little, the true beings are coming. Joyous is the garden of winter to where the fresh fruit of summer are brought for Blessed Mary. And little by little, friends receive their share of the ripened fruit of remembering. Little by little, little by little, little by little by little, little by little, little by little, little by little by little, little by little, little by little.
Now you can clap. Now everybody can hear you. Once again, thank you for joining us. And if you're joining us from someplace other than this room, let us know where you're tuning in from. And do subscribe to us on YouTube. Share us with your friends. And also find us on social media and share us with your friends. But like us, comment. We appreciate that. And get out there and be creative. Do your thing. The way you do you, as they say. And I mean that in a kind way. Not like, hey, you do you. Thank you very much. I'm so excited about next week. So a couple things to remember. Our Monday meditations, after 2 years, we're shifting them to Wednesdays. And they'll start at 7 p.m. instead of 8. So this particular Wednesday is going to be the first of our Kirtan Chanting Wednesday, July 27th at 7 p.m. It's going to be live and in person at the Sanctuary Space at Marybrook, but it's now called the Dempsey Event Center, and is 123 Hyatts Road in Delaware, Ohio. But it's also going to be live streamed, so you may get the link on our website, soulcallglobal.org. Wednesday at 7 p.m. It's going to be chanting and meditation with our live group. So join us in person or live stream. And we can't wait. And it's free. It's a donation-based thing. Mostly bring your consciousness is what we're interested in. But then starting next Sunday, 2 things are coming up next Sunday. We're going to go back to asking if you're going to be in the congregation here to put a mask on while you're here. Just because things are kicking up and we're finding more people would choose to participate in person if they felt a mask were in place. So we're going to ask you to do that. And know that AIAM has got the best air filtration system you can get anywhere. So feel safe knowing that we have thought about that. That's why we're here. And we care about you. We care about community. So that's what's going to happen. We're listening. When you ask for things, we take it into consideration. So I want you to know how important you are. So next week, though, that Kirtan group from Wednesday is going to be right here, live and in person. We're going to do chanting and meditation, along with special guest speaker Laura Dugan next week, who's going to be talking about things about sociology and how we can affect positive change in the environment and some of the things that she's noticing socially. So she's going to be with us, joining us here from Ohio State University. So really excited to have her brilliant mind with us sharing those ideas. And then we're going to allow it to assimilate through the practice of chanting and Qigong. So then starting August 7th, I am so happy to say we're going to have live music in person. Yeah, very excited. And I'm happy about that because I get to sing more. So I'll be singing, we'll have a piano player, I'll bring the guitar. We're going to start having more live music starting August 7th. So mark your calendars and share with your friends. It's going to be great. Cannot wait. Also on the website and in the newsletter, I'm launching my class. It's up there now. The Holy Science. The Holy Science is starting in September. It's a 6-week class on one of the most impactful books you'll ever pick up. What I know for sure is if you begin, the reason I'm waiting till September is I would like for you to start meditating, to open wide your brain so that some of these pearls of wisdom will be more readily, assimilated. It's a deep book, but very profound. And I have every confidence that you'll come away with more than one, more than two, more than 3 things that you can incorporate into your life that will change. It'll change your life in a more positive direction, allowing you to incorporate more things to push you to your growing edge and closer to your soul's calling. It's one of my favorite books. So join me. I'll be teaching the class. It's going to be a hybrid event. It'll be in person and it will be live streamed on Zoom. So sign up and get the book. There's the link to buy the book from Self-Realization Fellowship is the one we're going to use. So I'm excited about that. I can't wait to share with you. What else? We've got a retreat coming up in October. It's going to be a Friday night, October, 14th through the 16th, at the Dempsey Event Center, 123 Hyatts Road in Delaware. Friday night, all day Saturday and Sunday morning. David Leonard is going to be joining us. Natalia Zuckerman will be in town. It's going to be an immersion into awakening. The Alchemy of the Soul is what it's called. It's going to be amazing. I cannot wait. It's going to be our first in a couple years. Circle of Love / SoulCall retreat. So mark your calendars, and registration is going to open for that sometime this week, but it'll be in the newsletter. So sign up for the newsletter. We thank you for your donations and contributions. I'm going to say your generous support is making it possible for us to move into the phase where we can appreciate live music. So I want to thank everyone for their generous contributions, and keep it coming, love. Don't stop it now, don't stop. No, yeah, keep it coming, because we can build on the music program and invite different people in to offer their gifts of music and inspiration. So thank you for that. If you are in need of prayers at soulcallglobal.org. Thank you for our prayer team who's been sending out the love and light, and our prayer team and our healing team. They send out Reiki. And I think you saw in the newsletter last week, Candy is our Reiki master and sends Reiki out. And if you would like ongoing Reiki, there's a link on the website and in the newsletter again to partake of that. And we want to send out a congratulations to Reverend Christy Hardwick, who launched her book this week. I'm not sure if we have the graphic, but it's in the newsletter. It's about tenderness and self-care, and it's available on Amazon. There's more information in the newsletter. Congratulations, Christy. And I know Reverend Christy is going to be offering a workshop in conjunction with that fabulous book later in the year. We'll get the dates together for you there, but we couldn't be more proud, and we wish her all the best. So get that book. All right. And in the meantime, get out there, fail at something so you can succeed and grow your growing edge, and find that joy and go play creatively. And remember always, you are loved. Peace and blessings.
One family, one people, one planet, one love.